y'all! How's it going? Today we're going to talk about that thing that none of us like to talk about, which is going home for the holidays when you're LGBTQ+, so basically anyone who's not conforming to the sexuality or gender identities which was assigned to them at birth. And I know you're probably like, sexuality assigned at birth? Everyone's assumed straight by this world, which is so shitty. So today I was going to tell you some stuff that I read from Psychology Today. It's an ABC guide to how to survive going home, and then I'm going to give you a few of my own tips. Also, I'm looking at my computer, so I'll be like looking down a few times. I also want to say that this is not a foolproof plan. As someone who is also LGBTQ+, going home for the holidays, I go home often, it can be really hard, especially extended family. That is my advice for today. So first, it's A, acceptance and acknowledgement. First is acknowledge the topics and conversation which might be brought up by your family members. Predict the bumps in the road that are bound to happen. Some might say that's pessimistic, but it's more providing yourself the mental space for when you're going home and preparing yourself for the conversations which might be happening. This can be hard. You can prepare yourself for some uncomfortable questions that might be coming up, some topics like politics that you don't want to talk about, certain family members that you know are homophobic, transphobic, and that you need to prepare yourself for, even though the rest of your family's like, oh no, Aunt Janet won't say anything bad, I swear, but you know you're Aunt Janet. As part of the A is acceptance. Bring acceptance and accept that things aren't perfect and that things are hard. And you can't control other people. You have to accept that you are not in charge of these people's thoughts. You are not in charge of fixing anything. You are not in charge of being the know-all of all LGBTQ+, everything. You are not responsible for that. That's okay. Just accept also that you are valid, no matter what your family says, no matter the level of acceptance they have for you. Your identity, your sexuality, your gender, valid. Completely valid, and you deserve to acknowledge that. Also, when you're talking to people in your family, try not to respond in anger. I know your first thing is like, oh yeah, Aunt Janet? Well, you're stupid. Like, nah, don't do that. It might feel good in the moment, but it's really just proving them right, giving them fuel. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that at all. So, the best thing to do is take a deep breath. And the thing I've learned that is your biggest power, saying no. That brings us into our next point. B for boundaries. So boundaries are important. You should have boundaries in your everyday life for LGBT+ topics, your body, anatomy, all of that stuff. Boundaries are very important. They are a reason why we can help ground ourselves. I think that's important to remember. So set limits for yourself and your family. Like, what are you willing to hear from them? What aren't you willing to hear? And when do you need to excuse yourself so you can have a moment to yourself? What is the point where you say, this is enough? I will not continue any of this. I need to have a moment for myself. That's important. Another part of boundaries is, like I said before, you don't owe them anything. You owe them nothing. You don't owe them explanations. You don't owe them conversation. You don't even owe them a hug if you don't want. Because it's your body, it's your life, it's your sexuality, it's your identity. And it's your comfort. Boundaries are also indicative to comfort. We need to remember that. Our comfort matters so much. And you also, with boundaries, need to make sure that you're taking your emotional health into consideration when you go home. Make sure you have time for self-care and affirmation. Do you have people you can talk to outside of your family for if things get tough and you can't get out of a situation? Like your friends, a queer support group, a hotline you can call. Any of that is okay and actually a smart idea to have. You should be able to have some type of other support outside of your family members who understand what you're going through or can at least properly sympathize. So you have someone to talk to, an outlet to go to, who can help you through your feelings. Also, mantras, self-affirmation mantras are a wonderful thing. I learned this in therapy. Mantras like, I am valid, I am a man, my pronouns are he, him, his. I am valid, I am a man, my pronouns are he, him, his. Sometimes when I go home, I gotta do mantras so that I can remember that I'm me and no one can take that from me. That my mental health is being taken into account here. Also, go take a breather. That's perfectly fine. Walk away. You can walk away from things. You don't have to stand there and force yourself to be the center of the conversation if someone's trying to force you to. It's a big power. Be upfront with your boundaries as well. Your boundaries are important and should be respected. So when people aren't respecting those, be stern, but be smart about the way you say it. Kind of like I said with acceptance earlier. You don't want to lash out in anger. So if someone's like, oh, I'll use an example on myself. Oh, dead name. Can you come here for a second? Oh, she's such a sweet girl. Go up and say, hi, if you're going to address me, I'd like you to use Max and my pronouns he, him, his. If you're not going to do that, please don't address me at all. It's stern, but it's still showing a level of kindness, if that makes sense. But be upfront. Don't let people walk all over you. I didn't like the way that looked, but I'm going to do it again because it kind of looked cool on the camera. Okay, focus. Okay. So when you're being upfront, also remember that some people might be like, no, I'm not going to do that. You're a girl. You'll always be a girl to me. Say, that's fine for you, but I'm not going to accept that. Therefore, I ask that you respect me. I don't care if you don't agree, but I ask that you respect me while I'm here. That's important to also say. Also, something that is going to be a savior for your life. Looking at someone and saying, I'm uncomfortable with the conversation. Let's stop talking about it. Or I'm uncomfortable. I would like to stop talking about this conversation. Simple said, easy said, but it says that you're not willing to talk anymore. Or, I'm sorry. Actually, no, don't apologize. My bad. Say, I'm not willing to continue this conversation with you right now. Thank you. And if they try, just say it again. I said I'm not willing to continue this conversation. You need to stop. Firm, stern, but still polite. Now, of course, there's a point where politeness, gets a little intermingled, and that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes you know how to interact with your family better than other people, and that's up to you, because everyone's families are different. The C, which I feel a little fishy about the C, but I'm going to share it anyways, because I said I would. It's compassion. It's one of the hardest parts. I'd say accept them even if they don't accept you. Now, I know what you're saying. You're like, oh, that's stupid. I know. So I've changed it up a little. That doesn't mean accept mean things they're saying to you, the treatment, cruelty, putting your mental health and your boundaries at risk. That means accept that. Be polite. Understand if you're like just having come out a while ago, it's new to them. It is something that people do have to take time to understand. That does not, however, mean that they have the right to disrespect you, be rude to you, say mean and nasty things. So I just wanted to clear that up, okay? Because I didn't really agree with some of the C for compassion stuff, but I do think it is a good point still. Some other tips just from me. I know you're like, oh, my whole family will be here for the holidays. I should come out. Let me tell you, that is not a good idea. Don't come out in the holidays. It just doesn't work well usually. It puts people in very awkward situations. You can't escape that easily. And I don't mean that in like a danger. Don't come out if you think you're in danger. staying in the closet is not a bad thing if you think you're in danger. And also make sure you reach out if you do think so. But if you do plan on coming out, maybe just keep it on hold until after holidays. Not that I'm saying shove your identity away, don't talk about it, just don't plan it. Don't be like, all right, everyone, Thanksgiving dinner, news. I like women, I like men, I'm bisexual. Probably not the best way to go about things, honestly. Might get you in a little bit of trouble. So just keep that in mind. Also, if you can't go home for the holidays or you don't want to go home for the holidays, chosen family is just as important as the family you're born into or adopted into. Chosen family can be the family you choose to spend the rest of your life with. Chosen family is an amazing thing. Yeah, just make sure you have support groups, support people. If you're in college, you can probably talk to your local LGBTQ plus group, and you can start like some type of chat that you can go to get support. As always, you can reach out to me. You can either comment down below, which will also have some great little inky-dinky links that have more stuff about family stuff, as well as always the Trevor Hotline number, because it's important to know that sometimes suicidal ideology can increase when the holidays come up for some people, and you should know that there are people who care about you and want you to be safe and continue being here with us. So I always put that number always down below. The link to their website. They have a chat version, they have an online version, and then they also have a call. So you can do all three. So if you're anxious about making a call, just know that. There are also support groups online you can look into. I'll try to find some if I can't, though. Usually a Google search can help you find it. Stay safe during the holidays. I know it's hard. It's always hard for me. I'm going to visit some relatives that live in a different state, and I'm really nervous about it because not only am I going after my top surgery, so I'm flat-chested, my voice is lower, I have this cute little mustache that you can't really see, but it's enough of one that people will say something about it. But I'm also aware that I'm introducing my fiance to them for the first time. And that is so nerve-wracking. We're a mixed-race couple. We're going down south. That's terrifying. But it's an eye-opener. And if you are the family of an LGBTQ plus individual and you know they're coming home, create a diverse area of acceptance. Listen to them. Listen to their ideas. Listen to them talking about their identity. Acceptance can be the thing between your child staying in touch with you and your child not staying in touch with you. Parents don't seem to realize that sometimes their kids might not want to come home for the holidays because of the way they treat them. And that's the case for a lot of people out there. They don't want to go home. They feel obligated to go home. It's something they have to take a lot of mental time to prepare for. And they shouldn't have to think that. They should be able to know that they have a safe place to go, that they're welcome, and that they're loved. And if you can't give that to them, I don't know what you're doing, because it ain't that hard. As usual, though, I love all of you. I will be happy to see you all. I want you to also, possibly, if you would like, give me some of your horror stories about going home for the holidays, and maybe I'll make a video about them. So if you want to put those in the comments or follow my Instagram, which I will put in this video somewhere, but if you want to go ahead and do that, please do. I cannot wait to hear how your holidays went or your past holidays went, and I will make sure to update you on how mine has gone. I will do so for Christmas. I'm being with my found family for Hanukkah, but also Christmas. Something I don't personally celebrate, but my family still does. So I'll update you all. Mwah!